How to cruise to Antarctica. Although it is arguably the most remote destination on Earth, cruises to and around Antarctica have become a popular adventure vacation. The first thing to do when planning your own is to decide on which type of cruise you want to go on, since each one has its own advantages. Deciding when to book your trip is equally important, since the weather, daylight, and wildlife can change dramatically from month to month. Finally, doing some comparative shopping between operators and even different cruises provided by one operator can help you budget accordingly. Method 1. Choosing between types of cruise. 1. Pick a luxury cruise for comfort and sightseeing. Go with this to enjoy all the amenities of your classic luxury cruise ship, including room service, dining facilities, and spacious cabins. However, be aware that luxury ships are generally too big to actually land on Antarctica, so only decide on this if you're content with just seeing it, rather than setting foot on it. In the meantime, enjoy lectures from experts on the continent and its wildlife to complement the breathtaking vistas. 2. Opt for a fly cruise to avoid the sea passage. Obviously, traveling by plane isn't what most people think of when they hear the word cruise. However, when traveling by boat, anticipate a 2-day journey each way across the Drake Passage, which can be exceptionally rough even during mild weather. If your primary interest is actually visiting Antarctica, consider a round-trip flight if you are prone to seasickness, phobic about rough seas, or simply pressed for time. Once there, you can stay on land or take a shorter cruise just offshore in milder seas. 3. Go on a smaller ship for the best of both worlds. Choose a cruise ship that both sails to and around Antarctica while landing at points of interest along the way. Such ships hold no more than 200 passengers, which means they are small enough to land and allow passengers on shore. However, be aware that landing is a relative term, which here means that you will simply transfer to smaller inflatable craft to reach the shore, so keep in mind that you may get wet. 4. Decide on an itinerary. Once you know which type of cruise you'd prefer, research the options offered by cruise operators. Expect individual cruises to vary by length and destinations. If you're already thinking about a trip to Antarctica, you probably have a good idea of what you hope to see and do there, so find a specific cruise that matches your interests. For example, if you love seals and penguins, make sure to book a cruise that visits South Georgia and the Falkland Islands, which both animals frequent in abundance. Method 2. Factoring in the time of year. 1. Forget winter. As you may imagine, winter is an extreme event both in and around Antarctica, so don't expect cruise lines to operate at this time of year. If you're from the Northern Hemisphere, remember that seasons in the Southern Hemisphere occur at the opposite time of year. Plan your vacation for sometime between October and March. 2. Maximize the amount of visibility. Remember that the closer you go toward either pole, in this case the South Pole, the longer the days last around the summer solstice. To optimize the most amount of daylight available for sightseeing, go in December and/or January, when days last their longest, depending on the cruise operators. This may also extend the amount of time you get to spend on shore each day before returning to the ship. 3. Factor in the weather. Again, consider the amount of daylight available to determine when is the best time to go and beat the colder weather. Plan for December and January to enjoy the mildest conditions. Expect more severe changes in weather the earlier or later you go into the season, when nightfall occurs earlier. 4. Match your itinerary to wildlife's. If you're going specifically to see your favorite Antarctic animal in the wild, find out the best time of year to see them and synchronize your trip. For example, if you love fur seals, go in December, when they start crowding the beaches. If, on the other hand, you prefer bull elephant seals, go earlier, before the fur seals overcrowd them and force them out. Method 3. Budgeting and comparative shopping. 1. Ask about food. Remember that you're going to be stuck on board for a number of days with nowhere else to get food. Contact each cruise operator that you're interested in to find out if they can provide for your dietary needs if you have any specific restrictions or concerns. Although most if not all include meals in their ticket prices, double-check what this covers exactly. Expect the amount of courses offered per meal to vary, as well as the availability of snacks and certain beverages like alcohol, which may only be offered at additional cost. 2. Research activities. Expect most cruises to offer a wide variety of onboard and onshore activities. However, anticipate that not all of these may be included in the ticket price. For instance, being transported from ship to shore may be part of the ticket price, but additional activities once you reach shore may involve rental fees for equipment on top of the initial ticket price. 3. Find out if they provide clothes and gear. Keep in mind that the weather in Antarctica can be severe even in the summer months. Prepare to dress accordingly. However, if budget is a concern, contact the operator before you go clothes shopping. Although you will undoubtedly be responsible for items like thermal underwear and socks. Find out if outer gear like parkas and rubber boots are covered by the ticket price or available to rent. 4. Compare cabin and cruise prices. Expect cabins on board one ship to vary in price depending on their location, with cabins on lower decks usually being lower in price. Additionally, be aware that some companies offer the same itinerary on different ships with different prices. If one ship seems out of reach, find out if another ship with fewer amenities follows the same itinerary.